What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this, we have 9 ways British Easter was a huge culture shock to an American. Before we dive in, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Let's get right into it.
The idea of having like Easter holidays and certain places being more crowded because it's Easter holidays, not a thing in the US. The kids are in school, the parents are at work, we're going to church on the Sunday. Hallelujah, he is risen. Eat your peeps and get back to work. Hi, and welcome back to the Girl Gone London channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylin. I'm a dual UK and American citizen, and today I am talking about how British Easter was a huge culture shock for me. And you might be wondering, what do you mean British Easter? It's just Easter. Isn't Easter in America the same as Easter in Britain? And technically, it is supposed to celebrate the same thing, which we'll get to in a minute, but the way the two countries celebrate Easter is pretty different. Now we're just gonna jump into the first thing on my list, which are giant chocolate Easter eggs. Every time Easter is approaching, you will see the store shelves in the UK be filled with these giant eggs, which are basically giant chocolate eggs. Typically, they also have something else inside them. So it could be like chocolate in chocolate. The only thing I can think of is Reese's, which is the most American thing to think of, but like a Reese's chocolate egg might have Reese's Pieces inside or Reese's Cups inside. And so it's honestly just a sugar rush. And don't get me wrong, Americans also love chocolate and sugar rushes at Easter, but we don't typically have the giant chocolate Easter eggs like they do in the UK. Typically, our Easter chocolate is going to be, a lot of times it'll be something like this. So it'll be like
That's what I was gonna say. A big chocolate Easter bunny. It's not an egg, but an actual like big chocolate Easter bunny. And I do not like those chocolate Easter bunnies. I feel like whatever chocolate they using to make them bunnies is just it's not good chocolate. Like not good.
chocolate Easter bunny that is very popular, or we'll have smaller things. So just an assortment of like Easter candy kind of chocolate as opposed to this like centerpiece chocolate of a giant Easter egg. Another sugary thing that we typically think of when it comes to Easter in America are Peeps, which are these, and they're just sugar covered marshmallows, and that's typically, again, our like iconic Easter candy. And yes, they do literally just taste like sugar covered marshmallows, and yes, I do love them. Now my British
I can't
audience,
stand the Peeps. I think they're absolutely disgusting as well.
take a second to comment below and tell me your favorite chocolate egg that you can get in the UK. Which is your favorite one? Give me recommendations for the future because I stand in front of the shelves and I'm like, I like chocolate. This all roughly looks good to me. Number 2 on my list, I was surprised that the Easter bunny, while still an important part of a British Christmas, I almost said of a British Christmas, you guys, wrong video. A very important part of a British Easter is not as important as in the US. I feel like in the US, we worship Jesus and the Easter Bunny on Easter, whereas in the UK, I feel like Jesus isn't even invited to the table most of the time, and the Easter Bunny, he does show up occasionally, but he's not around as much as in the US. Like in the US, we think of the Easter Bunny as like Santa Claus / Father Christmas. He's at the mall. He's meeting and greeting on the corner of the neighborhood. He's at every single Easter egg hunt, which we'll get to in a minute. He's everywhere, along with his pal, the Easter Duck. Oh yes, the Easter Duck. He is also an American Easter character, and please enjoy this photo of me with the Easter Duck. Probably I was like, I don't know, how old do I look there? It was a long time ago. And again, before the whole internet comments and tells me the Easter Bunny is a thing here in the UK. He definitely is a thing. You can definitely meet him at various activities, but the scale of love for the Easter Bunny is just a little bit lower in the UK. Also, I found some pictures of the Easter Bunny meeting and greeting in the UK, and I feel like they went the Peter Rabbit route with a really cute, adorable, whimsical Easter Bunny compared to the American one, which sometimes looks like something out of a nightmare. Now, the next thing on my list is
absolutely true. I was an Easter bunny once upon a time in my life. Took pictures with a lot of kids. Was cool. Prefer not to be the Easter bunny. I'll say that. My son just had his first Easter. Took pictures with the Easter bunny. Yeah, the Easter bunny is almost worshipped out here for Easter. It's supposed to be about Jesus, but it's about Jesus and the Easter bunny out here. Um, I will say there was one thing. I have never met an Easter duck. That may be in certain parts of the US, but the parts that I've been in, I've never met nor heard of the Easter duck. So that one was new to me. But I don't doubt that it exists, just probably in parts of the US that I have not been to, which is most of the United States I haven't been to.
Is Easter baskets. And this is where I'm going to need my British audience to chime in again because I haven't experienced every single family life in the UK, sorry. But from my understanding, Easter baskets are more of an American concept than a British one. And this is where I think the giant chocolate Easter egg in the UK stands in as the Easter gift. Whereas in the US, typically for kids, for members of your family, maybe, like even if your kids are grown, like the mom and dad of a family would put together Easter baskets like for each couple. Easter baskets that look like this are a very popular American thing, a very popular way to celebrate Easter, and is what we say that the Easter Bunny has brought you on Easter morning. Yep. However, my other hypothesis about this has to do with the fact that typically because our Easter candy is smaller, it makes more sense to put it together and gift it in a basket, which ties into my first point about how in the UK, the Easter gift or thing to treat yourself with or somebody else is typically one giant Easter egg with other stuff inside. So it's already done. You don't need a basket. Now, the next thing on my list has
I never got Easter baskets like already made up of all that stuff. When I got an Easter basket, it was for that Easter egg hunt, right? And in the eggs, there'd be a lot of eggs with little candies inside of them. That golden egg had a little bit of money inside of it. And then there would always be hard-boiled eggs as well. Don't really eat hard-boiled eggs. Give them to my dad. But yeah, I've seen many families give the children Easter baskets, like set up like that, but I've never got one like that.
Do with the actual meaning of Easter and the religious meaning of the holiday. So it is a Christian holiday which celebrates the resurrection of Jesus. Now, that is what it actually is. As we've talked about in previous videos, you guys hear me talk about this all the time. In the US, it is a much more religious country than in the UK. Despite there not being an official religion, in the USA, it is a more religious country, which means that the entire feeling of Easter is very different in the US compared to the UK because of this. So forget about the Easter bunny and the baskets and the stuff like that. Easter in the US, a lot more people are going to treat this as an opportunity to basically spend the day with their family, going to a church service, and then getting together. The religious element of the holiday is very important to the holiday to most people who celebrate Easter in the US. In the UK, yes, it is a Christian holiday, but I feel like in general, while the churches might experience higher numbers during an Easter service, the vast majority of people are not flocking to churches like happens in most places in America. In fact, one of the most popular ways to wish people a happy Easter in the US is to say, "He is risen." And you wish that to each other as a greeting. Happy Easter, he is risen. Whereas in the UK, I feel like the only thing rising are the hot cross buns. And that brings me to the next thing on my list.
I can use some hot cross buns. I may need to see Easter in the UK for a minute. Yes, I've never actually said that, but I have heard people say that. Not often, but I have heard people say that. But yeah, people definitely flock to the churches. I'm talking about. If you ain't been to church all year, you were coming for Easter Sunday. You might not go any other Sunday of the year, but you'll be there for Easter Sunday.
Which is hot cross buns. Hot cross buns. When I was growing up in the US, I had never heard of. I had no idea what these things were. I had only experienced these when I moved to the UK. I have done research recently, and it does seem that hot cross buns are booming in popularity in the US over the past couple of years. And this is not to say that people in the US have never enjoyed hot cross buns. It can be relatively regional, but where I grew up in the South in the US, hot cross buns, I would have no idea what you meant. The next thing on my list has to do with holiday surrounding Easter. And by holiday, I mean the British meaning of holiday, like holiday time off. I mean time off. And this is going to blow some British people's minds because, again, Easter is a huge holiday in the US, but we don't typically get off any days surrounding Easter in most states. Now, there are some states, about 10, I think, out of 50, in which Good Friday, the Friday before Easter, is considered a government holiday. However, in most states, it isn't. There is no guarantee that you're going to have the day off, that anything special is going to happen. And Easter Monday, which is a bank holiday in the UK, not a thing in the US. The fact that when I moved here, you got the Monday after Easter off was very surprising. So in the UK, it's the Friday, which is Good Friday, the Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's the long bank holiday Easter weekend. Again, in the US, some states will give you the Friday. Again, I say give you, this is kind of like if you're a government worker, sometimes companies will do it, but there isn't the same federal requirement of certain holidays like there is in the UK. And nobody is planning anything or doing anything typically on the Monday after Easter in the US. It really is like a day for us on the Sunday where you wake up, do Easter egg hunts if you have kids, open Easter baskets, go to church, spend time with your family, and then it's over. That kind of segues into the next thing on my list.
Absolutely, definitely no Monday. That's dope. Y'all still get a holiday the day after? And you get Good Friday? I think I got Good Friday out of school when I was coming up. I think we did get Good Friday out of school. But we didn't get that next Monday. Like, dang. Y'all out here living it up.
Which is kids' school vacation time. So in the UK, kids are going to get about 2 weeks off surrounding Easter. Easter does change on which date it is, so those specific dates will change. But essentially, around Easter time, they get at least 2 weeks off, typically in England at least. In the USA, kids do not get off school surrounding Easter.
No.
The idea of having like Easter holidays and certain places being more crowded because it's Easter holidays, not a thing in the US. The kids are in school, the parents are at work, we're going to church on the Sunday, hallelujah, He is risen, eat your peeps, and get back to work. And the second to last thing on my list,
I think it's because they get so many days off for different breaks. Like you get Thanksgiving break, you get time off, you got Christmas break, you get time off, you got all of the holidays during the year, and then you got spring break, or you get that which is right there before Easter break, so we can't give you spring break and then turn around and give you an Easter break. Like that's a lot of time because right after spring break, you're talking about maybe a couple months, and then you're out of school for the summer.
Surprised me when I moved to the UK was, again, the general atmosphere surrounding Easter and the fact that for a lot of British people, it's more about the time off. They're hoping for good weather, and people like go to the pub and they go out with friends, and it's something that like. This is the same thing with Christmas Eve, where I could never wrap my head around how people would use this as a time to go to the pub and drink with friends. Because in America, Christmas Eve and Easter are very much a time that you're definitely going to be with your family and maybe having a couple glasses of something as part of like an Easter brunch. But you are not meeting your friends down at the bar on Christmas Eve in most of America. It's a much different, less alcohol-involved experience. And the final thing on my list has to do with Easter egg hunts. Now, Easter egg hunts are done in the UK. You can find them. So again, I'm not saying that you can't. However, as with everything, America takes it to the next level. We go full 10 out of 10 on the Easter egg hunt scale, and there are a lot more Easter egg hunts in America, and when we do have an Easter egg hunt, I feel like it's much more refined in the UK. They might give you like a trail booklet of you're supposed to go around this National Trust property and find some eggs, or it's a more civilized experience where I'm telling you, the American ones, you just dump all 50,000 or whatever Easter eggs in this park, and the kids just go for it, and the parents are trampling each other, and it's a very iconic part of American Easter. And again, the best way I can explain it is to say that I'm not saying that the UK doesn't have Easter egg hunts. That is a more recent part of celebrating Easter for kids in the UK. But Americans, we just take it to the next level. That's all I can say. That's what surprised me when I came to the UK, similar to how Americans take Christmas lights to the next level. So yes, Brits celebrate Christmas with Christmas lights on their houses, but you go to America and it's just like it's just the level is raised to 100. Now that brings me to the end of this video. Hope you have a good weekend celebrating Easter, however you do it. Comment below, let me know your favorite Easter tradition, and I'll see you guys next time.
She's absolutely right. Yeah. Them Easter egg hunts, it get crucial out there. It get competitive. Hey, and they ain't taking no mercy on no little babies, no little kids, none of that. None of that. That little kid ain't fast enough. They ain't getting no eggs, so the parents got to get out there and compete. I absolutely love that. That's all we got. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Check out the next. I'll see y'all next time.